I was in the middle of a deep sleep, dreaming about lying on a beach on an island far, far away, when I suddenly felt like the earth was shaking beneath me. It took a few minutes to come round and realize that it wasn't in my dream. Someone was actually shaking me.
Chloe, wake up, wake up.
I opened my eyes. What is it, Mom? Why are you waking me?
It's Layla. She's missing.
I sat bolt upright in bed. What are you talking about? What do you mean she's missing?
We've looked everywhere for her, but she's nowhere to be seen.
But before I go on, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on any crazy stories. I was sitting on the sofa in the lounge listening to my parents telling the police everything they knew.
Chloe and Layla both went up to bed at the same time. It was probably about an hour or two later that we went up to bed.
My wife checked in on Chloe first, and then she went to check on Layla.
When I opened her door, I immediately noticed that she wasn't in her bed. I thought she must have gone to the bathroom. So I called out to her, but she didn't reply.
Chloe, is there anything that you can tell us? Was Layla acting differently in any way? Did she say anything to you at all?
I tried to rack my brains to try to remember, but it was hard to focus. I was so upset that my sister was missing. It was hard to think. No, I don't remember anything. I'm sorry. I just want her back. You will find her, won't you?
We will do our very best. I can promise you that.
I could hear my mom's quiet sobbing. My dad was doing his best to comfort her, but she was obviously distraught. After the police left, I tried to go back to sleep, but all I could think about was Layla. I prayed and prayed that she would come back that night, but when I woke up the next morning, she was still nowhere to be seen. Where can she be, Mom?
I wish I knew, Chloe. I wish I knew.
Where's Dad?
He's gone out in the car, looking for her. He said that he couldn't sit around doing nothing. I'm going to go out later and help him look for her.
I'll come too.
No, Chloe. You have to go to school.
But I want to help you look for Layla.
It's okay. Your dad and I will look. It's better for you if you keep some normality. You'll be better off at school.
Okay, but promise me you will message me if you find her.
I promise.
When I got to school, I was immediately surrounded by all of my friends.
Oh my God, Chloe, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?
Yes, just a bit worried, that's all.
Of course you are. Who wouldn't be? But try not to worry too much. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Thank you. Just then, the bell went for the start of class. You go on. I just have to get my books from my locker. I'll catch up to you. I went to my locker and grabbed my books. I was about to walk off down the corridor when I spotted a boy walking towards me.
Hey, Chloe, I heard about your sister. Are you okay?
I could feel myself blushing as I answered him. I'm all right. Been better.
Listen, we can hang out if you like. Have some fun. It might help you to not think about it. If you're uncomfortable, of course, we don't have to. Maybe later?
Yes, that would be great. The next week passed in a bit of a blur. Every day I would hope that Layla would come home, but she never did. My parents spent every day searching and searching for her, but she was nowhere to be seen. It was at the end of a very long day, and my parents and I were sitting in the kitchen eating our dinner. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. I'll get it. I jumped up and went to see who it was. When I opened the door, I got the biggest shock of my life. It was Layla standing there. But hold on one second. I haven't been completely honest with you. Let me rewind to the beginning, and this time I will tell you the complete truth. My mom woke me up from a deep sleep, shaking me by the arm.
Chloe, wake up, wake up.
I looked at my mom groggily. What is it, Mom? Why are you waking me?
It's Layla. She's missing.
I sat bolt upright in bed. I knew that I had to make this look convincing. What are you talking about? What do you mean she's missing?
We've looked everywhere for her, but she's nowhere to be seen.
I had gone over and over in my mind what this conversation would be like, but I hadn't really thought about how upset my parents were going to be. It had been easy organizing for my sister to disappear. It wasn't even that difficult to hire some people to kidnap her and take her to a foreign country. They are probably threatening her right now so that she doesn't try to come back. But dealing with the questions from the police was another matter. I sat on the sofa and listened to my parents telling the police all about the events leading up to them discovering Layla was missing. I sat there. I tried to squeeze out some tears.
Chloe, is there anything that you can tell us? Was Layla acting differently in any way? Did she say anything to you at all?
I tried not to let the police see how nervous I was, but it wasn't easy. My hands were shaking and beads of sweat were all over my face. I pretended that I was trying to rack my brains to think of anything Layla might have said, but really, I was just buying some time before I stammered out my answers. No, I don't remember anything. I'm sorry. I just want her back. You will find her, won't you?
We will do our very best. I can promise you that.
Eventually, the police left and I went back upstairs to bed. As I lay in bed, I tried to block out the sounds of my mom crying. The next morning, when I woke up, I went downstairs and found my mom in the kitchen. Where can she be, Mom?
I wish I knew, Chloe. I wish I knew.
I pretended that I was desperate to help search for Chloe, but Mom persuaded me to go to school instead. When I got to school, all my friends gathered around me. Of course, they were all worried about how I was feeling. I pretended that I was upset and worried.
Try not to worry too much. I'm sure she'll be fine.
The bell went and I told my friends to go to class. I went to my locker and got out my books. When I turned around, I noticed that Stefan was walking towards me. I couldn't believe it. My heart started pounding and my stomach filled with butterflies.
Hey, Chloe, I heard about your sister. Are you okay?
I could feel myself blushing as I answered him. I'm all right. Been better.
Listen, we can hang out if you like. Have some fun. It might help you to not think about it. If you're uncomfortable, of course, we don't have to. Maybe later?
Yes, that would be great. I watched as he walked off down the corridor. Oh my God, I think my heart is about to burst. You're probably wondering why I did it, aren't you? Well, it's because my sister is evil. I had a crush on Stefan for ages, and when Layla found out, do you know what she did? She only started flirting with him. Of course he fell for her. Why wouldn't he? She's beautiful. But do you know what she did? She started dating him and then dumped him. She crushed his heart. And that's not the only mean thing she did to me. She told everyone at school every single embarrassing thing I had ever done. She would do whatever she could to get a laugh at my expense. Every day for the next week, I would arrive home from school and ask my parents the same thing. Did you find her? And every day they would look sadly at me and tell me that they hadn't been able to find her. Hopefully you will find her tomorrow. I'm going to pray that you do. It was the end of a very long day, and my parents were sitting in the kitchen eating our dinner. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. I'll get it! I jumped up and went to see who it was. When I opened the door, I got the biggest shock of my life. It was Layla standing there. She stood there, smiling at me. My sister has the face of an angel, but actually, she is a devil. Layla! I stood there staring at her. I was feeling very scared at that point. What am I going to do if she tells Mom and Dad what I did?
Hi, Chloe.
When Layla went into the kitchen, I heard the shrieks of joy from my parents.
Oh, thank God, darling, you're home.
Where have you been? We've been worried sick.
I held my breath as I waited for Layla to blurt it all out. When she finally spoke, what she said shocked me to the core.
I have no idea. I can't remember anything. Well, the important thing is that you are safe and you are home now.
I'd better call the police and let them know that you are back. They'll probably want to ask you some questions.
I watched as my dad phoned the police. I was starting to freak out. What if the police find out it was me that organized for Layla to be kidnapped? When the police arrived, they started interrogating Layla.
You must remember something. Anything at all that might help us find out what happened to you.
I'm sorry. I can't remember anything.
I scrutinized Layla's face, trying to see any sign to say if she was telling the truth or not. Does she know? Or has she really lost her memory like she says? And how did she escape? The police finally finished their questioning and left.
You must be starving, Layla. I'll go make you something to eat.
My mom went off to the kitchen. My dad went with her to help, leaving me alone with Layla. Are you sure you don't remember anything, Layla? Layla turned to look at me, replacing the smile on her face with a snarl.
Of course I remember. I remember everything. I know it was you that sent the kidnappers.
My heart dropped like a ton of bricks. Are you going to tell Mom and Dad?
Maybe. It depends.
On what?
On whether or not you do what I tell you?
What do you mean?
From now on, you will do everything I tell you to.
And if I don't?
If you don't, then you will be spending a long time in jail. It's up to you.
I looked at Layla's face. It didn't take me long to realize that she was deadly serious. I was so angry with her, but what could I do? There was no way I was going to jail. I couldn't believe that things had turned out so badly. Layla was going to make my life misery. I just knew it. From the moment I woke up the next morning, I was at her beck and call.
Chloe, get me a drink. Chloe, tidy my room for me. Chloe, make me a sandwich.
Of course, she never let my parents hear her ordering me around. They just thought I was being kind to her because I had missed her so much.
It's so nice to see you helping Layla. You're a good sister, Chloe.
I smiled at my mom, but inside I was seething. But at least I had one thing to look forward to. I had a date that night with Stefan. At least it would get me out of the house and away from Layla for a few hours. But instead of me having fun with Stefan, I ended up having the worst night of my life. I had spent ages getting myself ready and was really excited to see Stefan. As soon as I heard his knock at the door, I ran downstairs to answer it. But when Layla saw him standing there, her face changed. She leant over and whispered in my ear,
I want you to insult him right here and right now. I want you to be so mean to him that he never speaks to you again.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You will if you don't want to go to jail.
Don't be mean, Layla. Please don't make me do that to him.
I'm serious, Chloe. Do it now, or I'm going to tell Mom and Dad what you did.
I sighed. I knew that I didn't have any choice. You don't think I'm going out with you looking like that, do you? You look like such a mess. My heart nearly broke when I saw how sad Stefan looked. He muttered something about seeing me at school and left. I was so mad at Layla. I've had enough. I'm not going to put up with her blackmailing me any longer. By that moment, I didn't care anymore. I called the kidnappers and asked them to kidnap Layla again. And make sure you do it right this time. They told me that they wanted their payment up front, so I went to get my mom's credit card. I had just got it out of her bag when suddenly the door burst open and the room filled with policemen.
You're under arrest for organizing for your sister to be kidnapped.
What? Wait, no, it wasn't me!
Don't try to deny it. We were listening in on your telephone call just now.
My face fell in dismay. I knew that they had caught me red-handed.
Your sister thought you might try to kidnap her again. She told us to keep an eye on you.
I'm now sitting in jail. I can't wait until I'm free so that I can get my revenge on Layla. There is no way she is going to get away with this. She'd better watch her back, because I'm going to be coming after her.